Hello there, and welcome to this sleepy universe zone. Tonight, we're going to gently unravel something you've believed your entire life without even realizing it. That simple picture of the solar system you've seen since childhood, the one with the sun in the center and the planets stretched out in a neat, flat line, like coins resting quietly on a table. It feels so familiar, so complete, so obviously correct. But here's the quiet truth. That image is not wrong, but it is deeply incomplete. And once you begin to see what it leaves out, the solar system you thought you understood begins to open into something far more vast and far more peaceful than you ever imagined. Because the moment you ask a very simple question, what actually exists above it and below it, everything starts to change. Not suddenly, not violently, but slowly, like your eyes adjusting to the dark. At first, it might seem like a strange question. Above the solar system, below it. The diagram never shows anything there. Just empty space, quiet and still, as if nothing exists beyond that thin, flat plane where all the planets move. And your mind fills in the rest. You imagine that if you could somehow rise straight upward, away from the orbit of Earth, away from that invisible plane, you would quickly leave the solar system behind. As if all the real structure, all the meaning, all the motion exists only within that thin disk. But that assumption, that quiet, unexamined assumption, is where the illusion begins. Because in reality, the solar system is not a flat structure floating in empty space. It is not a thin sheet or a cosmic tabletop or a simple diagram you can hold in your mind. And it is something far more layered, far more dimensional, and far more expansive in every direction, including the ones we rarely think about. And yet, there's a reason the image looks flat, a real reason. About 4.6 billion years ago, long before Earth existed, long before the sun even began to shine, our solar system started as a vast molecular cloud, a quiet, drifting region of interstellar space composed mostly of hydrogen and helium, with traces of heavier elements like carbon, oxygen, silicon, and iron, elements forged in earlier generations of stars and scattered across space by supernova explosions. At some point, something disturbed this cloud, perhaps a nearby supernova or the gravitational pull of a passing star. And slowly, almost imperceptibly, a region within that cloud began to collapse under its own gravity. As it collapsed, as something important happened, it began to spin, not because something pushed it, but because even the slightest initial motion becomes amplified when matter contracts. This is a fundamental principle in physics known as the conservation of angular momentum. As the cloud shrank, its rotation increased faster and faster, like a figure skater pulling in their arms. And as it spun, it began to flatten, not perfectly, not instantly, but gradually, naturally, inevitably. Gravity pulled material inward, while rotation spread it outward along a single plane. Over time, that collapsing cloud transformed into a rotating disk. At the center, a growing concentration of mass became the sun, and within the disk, dust and ice particles collided, stuck together, and slowly built the planets. This structure, this spinning, flattened disk, is called a protoplanetary disk, and it is the only reason why the planets today orbit in roughly the same plane, what we call the ecliptic plane. So yes, the solar system appears flat because its planets were born from something flat. But here is where the quiet shift begins. That disk, that thin, familiar structure, is not the solar system. It's only the beginning of it. Because beyond that plane, above it, below it, and surrounding it in every direction, there is more, much more. And as we move further into this journey, slowly and gently, you'll begin to see that the solar system is not a surface you could step off of, but a vast three-dimensional space where above and below don't mean what they seem, and where the idea of direction itself begins to soften into something quieter, something wider, is something almost infinite. For now, just let that thought settle. The picture you've carried for so long is only a slice of something much larger. And tonight, we begin to explore what was always there, just beyond the edges of that familiar line. If you could leave Earth right now and drift far enough into space, something very strange would begin to happen. Not to your body, not to your surroundings, but to your sense of direction. Up would disappear, down would disappear. And without those two simple anchors, something you've relied on your entire life would quietly fall away. Because here is the unsettling, almost impossible truth. In space, there is no up, there is no down, and yet we keep using those words. We say things like above the solar system or below the planetary plane, as if those directions are real, fixed, and universally agreed upon, as if somewhere out there's a cosmic ceiling and somewhere else a cosmic floor. But there isn't. Those directions only exist because we choose them, and that changes everything about how you imagine the solar system. On Earth, down feels absolute. It pulls you toward the ground, keeps your feet planted, gives your body a constant sense of orientation. Up is simply the opposite, away from gravity, toward the sky. But that feeling is local. If you are standing in New York, your down points toward the center of the Earth. If you are standing in Australia, your down also points toward the center of the Earth, but in a completely different direction in space. Two people on opposite sides of the planet are both standing upright, both feeling gravity pulling them downward, but their directions are nearly opposite. So even on Earth, up and down are not universal. They are defined by where you are. Now imagine leaving Earth entirely. You move beyond its gravity, beyond its atmosphere, beyond even the gravitational pull of nearby planets. Out there, in deep space, there is no dominant force telling you which way is down. You could turn slowly, rotate freely, drift in any orientation at all, and every direction would feel exactly the same. There would be no difference between above and below, because those concepts would no longer have any meaning. This is the first quiet shift you need to make. When we ask what lies above and below the solar system, we are not describing real directions built into the universe. We are choosing a reference. Most often, and that reference is something called the ecliptic plane, the flat surface defined by Earth's orbit around the Sun. It's the same plane where most of the planets travel, the same one shown in all those familiar diagrams. But the ecliptic is not a physical surface. There's no invisible sheet floating in space, no boundary you could touch or cross. It's a mathematical idea, a way of describing motion and turning it into something your mind can visualize. And once you choose that plane, you can define directions relative to it. Above the ecliptic, below the ecliptic. But those directions only exist because you decided where zero is. If you chose a different reference, such as Jupiter's orbit or the combined motion of all the planets, you would get a slightly different plane, tilted at a different angle, with a different definition of above and below. And none of them would be more correct than the others. This is what makes space so quietly disorienting. There is no universal coordinate system, no fixed grid, no absolute orientation, only relationships, only motion relative to something else. So when you imagine the solar system floating in space with a clear top and bottom, what you're really seeing is a projection, an Earth-centered perspective placed onto something that has no natural orientation at all. And yet, despite this, the idea of a plane still matters, because even though up and down are not real directions, the structure of the solar system still has shape. The planets do cluster around a thin region of space. Their orbits do align closely. The ecliptic, while not physically real, reflects something physically meaningful about how the system formed. Is a pattern, a memory, a quiet imprint of the ancient spinning disk that gave birth to everything we see today. So we keep using it. We keep saying above and below, not because those directions truly exist, but because they help us describe the structure in a way our minds can hold. But now you're starting to see through it. You're beginning to feel that subtle shift, that the solar system is not a flat stage with empty space above and below, but a structure suspended in a directionless expanse. And as we move forward, you'll begin to see what actually fills that expanse. Because even though above and below are just choices, there are still things out there. Things that move far beyond the thin plane of the planets, hit things that don't stay where the diagrams put them. And once you see them, the idea of a flat solar system will begin to dissolve completely into something far deeper and far more quietly beautiful. If the solar system were truly flat, perfectly flat, then every planet would follow the exact same path, never rising, never dipping, never leaving that invisible surface we call the ecliptic. It would be like a perfectly smooth sheet of glass, with every orbit traced along a single, flawless layer. But that's not what happens. Not quite. Because even within that thin, familiar disk, there is movement you were never shown. Movement that quietly breaks the illusion of flatness. Each planet, as it travels around the sun, doesn't stay locked to a single level. Instead, it gently drifts above and below the ecliptic plane, tracing a path that is slightly tilted. This tilt is called orbital inclination, and every planet has one. Some are small, almost imperceptible. Others are just enough to matter. And once you begin to see these subtle shifts, the solar system starts to feel less like a flat diagram and more like a softly layered structure. Take Earth, for example. By definition, Earth's orbit is used to define the ecliptic plane, so its inclination is considered 0 degrees. It becomes the reference point, the baseline against which everything else is measured. But the other planets do not align perfectly with it. Mercury, the closest planet to the Sun, has an inclination of about 7 degrees. That may sound small, but over millions of kilometers, it means Mercury rises far above and dips far below the plane during each orbit. And Venus tilts about 3.4 degrees, Mars about 1.85 degrees. Jupiter, despite its enormous size, is tilted by about 1.3 degrees. Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, each with their own subtle deviations. These are small angles, but they create real distance. Mercury, at its furthest point above or below the ecliptic, can be millions of kilometers away from that invisible plane. It is not sliding neatly along a flat track. It is moving in a gentle, continuous wave, rising and falling as it circles the sun. And every other planet does the same, each with its own rhythm, its own quiet deviation from perfect alignment. So even the simplest version of the solar system, the one with just 8 planets, is not truly flat. It is more like a thin disk, softly textured, with each orbit slightly tilted, slightly offset, never perfectly aligned. And the flat diagram works because the differences are small compared to the vast distances involved. But small is not zero, and that difference matters. Now, you might wonder, if all the planets formed from the same rotating disk, why aren't they perfectly aligned? Why do these inclinations exist at all? The answer lies in the early chaos of the solar system. In its youth, the solar system was not calm or orderly. It was crowded, dynamic, and often violent. Protoplanets collided. Massive bodies pulled on each other through gravity. Objects were scattered, nudged, shifted into new paths. As the planets formed and grew, their gravitational influence began to reshape the system around them. Jupiter, in particular, played a powerful role. With more than twice the mass of all the other planets combined, its gravity stirred the surrounding material, slightly tilting orbits and redistributing objects across space. Some planets may have migrated inward or outward from where they originally formed, and those movements would have introduced further variations in their orbital planes. There is even evidence that the giant planets once rearranged themselves in a dramatic event known as the Nice model. In this scenario, Jupiter moved slightly inward, while Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune moved outward, scattering countless smaller objects and subtly altering the inclinations of the planets themselves. What we see today is not a perfectly preserved structure, but the result of billions of years of gravitational interaction, a system that settled into near flatness, but never perfect flatness. And this is important, because it tells you something deeper. The solar system is not a static object. It is not a frozen diagram. It is a dynamic system, constantly in motion, constantly adjusting, even if those changes happen over timescales far beyond human perception. The planes of the orbits slowly shift. They wobble. They precess. The entire structure evolves quietly, continuously, without ever becoming perfectly fixed. So when you picture the planets orbiting the sun, try to let go of that perfectly flat image. Instead, imagine a thin, almost delicate disk where each orbit gently rises and falls like soft ripples across a surface. Nothing extreme, nothing chaotic, just subtle variation, layered into the structure itself. And once you accept that even the planets don't stay exactly where the diagram places them, it becomes easier to imagine what comes next. Because beyond the planets, beyond this thin disk, there are objects that do not follow these gentle rules. Objects that wander far above and far below the ecliptic, tracing paths that cut through the solar system at steep angles. Objects that make the slight tilts of the planets feel almost insignificant. We're about to leave the quiet, orderly region of the planets. And as we move outward, the solar system will begin to open up. Not just outward, but upward and downward in ways the flat picture could never show. If the planets were the only things in the solar system, then the flat picture might almost be enough. Not perfect, but close enough to feel true. A thin disk, gently layered, with small inclinations that barely disturb its overall shape. But the moment you look just a little beyond the planets, that illusion begins to break. Not suddenly, not dramatically, but unmistakably. Because between Mars and Jupiter, there is a region filled with millions of objects, and they do not behave as neatly as the planets do. This region is known as the asteroid belt, and at first glance, it might seem like just another ring, another flat extension of the planetary disk. But it isn't. Not really. The asteroid belt is not a smooth, uniform layer. It is a vast collection of rocky bodies, ranging in size from tiny fragments to objects hundreds of kilometers across. And unlike the planets, many of these objects do not stay close to the ecliptic plane. Their orbits are tilted, sometimes gently, sometimes dramatically, while the planets remain within a few degrees of the ecliptic, and asteroids can reach inclinations of 10 degrees, 20 degrees, even 30 degrees or more. That means their paths take them far above and far below the thin region where the planets move. If you could step outside the solar system and look at it edge on, the planets would appear as a narrow, almost razor-thin line. But the asteroids would spread out into a thicker band, extending visibly above and below that line. And there are specific objects that make this even more clear. One of them is Pallas, one of the largest asteroids in the belt. Its orbital inclination is about 34.8 degrees, far steeper than any of the major planets. That means Pallas spends much of its orbit far above or far below the ecliptic, moving through regions of space the flat diagram never even hints at. If you tried to include it in that simple textbook image, it wouldn't fit. It would be far off the page, somewhere above or below the neat line of planets. This is the first real crack in the illusion. The flat diagram doesn't just simplify the solar system, it filters it. It shows you the objects that happen to stay close to the ecliptic and quietly leaves out the ones that don't. And by doing that, it shapes your perception without you noticing. It makes you believe that the solar system is flat, not because it truly is, but because everything that breaks that flatness has been removed from view. Once you see this, it becomes difficult to unsee. The solar system is no longer a clean, two-dimensional structure. It begins to feel thicker, more layered, more three-dimensional. The asteroid belt is not a flat ring. It is a region with depth, with vertical structure, with objects moving through space in tilted paths that intersect the planetary plane at sharp angles. And this thickness is not random. It tells a story. Just like the planets, the asteroids formed from the same early disk of material. But unlike the planets, they never fully coalesced into larger bodies. Their evolution was interrupted, largely by the immense gravitational influence of Jupiter. As Jupiter formed, its gravity stirred the asteroid belt, preventing the material there from forming a planet and scattering objects into more varied and more inclined orbits. Over billions of years, collisions, gravitational interactions, and resonances with Jupiter continued to reshape the belt. Some asteroids were nudged into higher inclinations. Others were ejected entirely. What remains today is not a calm, orderly ring, but a dynamic, evolving population of objects with a wide range of orbital paths. So even here, relatively close to the Sun, the solar system is already more complex than it appears. The thin disk of planets is only the innermost layer. Surrounding it is a thicker region where objects move more freely, less constrained by the original flat structure. And this is just the beginning, because as you move farther outward, beyond the asteroid belt, beyond the orbits of the giant planets, this pattern continues. The further you go, the less the solar system resembles a flat disk, and the more it begins to expand into something larger, something more volumetric, something that occupies space not just across a plane, but in every direction. The asteroid belt is the first sign of that transition, a quiet indication that the flat picture is not enough, a hint that above and below the solar system are not empty, but filled with motion, with objects, with structure that simply wasn't shown to you. And as we continue outward, those hints will grow stronger. The deviations will become larger, the inclinations steeper, the structure thicker, until eventually the idea of a flat solar system won't just feel incomplete, it will feel impossible. By now, the flat image is starting to feel less stable, not completely gone, not yet, but softened around the edges. The planets are not perfectly aligned. The asteroid belt is not a thin ring. There are objects already moving above and below the plane you once imagined as everything. And yet, what you've seen so far is still gentle, subtle deviations, small tilts, a slightly thicker structure. But as we move farther outward, something changes. The tilts are no longer small. They become impossible to ignore. Beyond the orbit of Neptune, at a distance where sunlight grows faint and the warmth of the sun becomes almost imperceptible, there exists a region filled with icy bodies. This is known as the Kuiper Belt, a vast population of objects left over from the formation of the solar system. At first, it might seem like just another extension of the disk, another ring, a little wider, a little colder, but still part of the same flat structure. But it isn't. The Kuiper Belt is thicker, much thicker. Objects here do not simply orbit in a neat, shared plane. Some stay close to the ecliptic, yes, forming what astronomers call the cold population, with inclinations of just a few degrees. But many others belong to a very different group, the hot population. These objects can have inclinations of 10 degrees, 20 degrees, even 30 degrees or more. Their orbits rise high above the planetary plane, then fall far below it, tracing long, tilted paths through space that no flat diagram could ever capture. The solar system at this distance is no longer a disk. It is becoming something else, something thicker, something layered. And then there is Pluto. For decades, Pluto was considered the ninth planet, quietly placed at the edge of that familiar line in textbooks and diagrams. It looked like it belonged there, just another point on the flat path. But Pluto never really fit. Its orbit is tilted by about 17 degrees relative to the ecliptic. That is more than twice the inclination of Mercury, the most tilted of the 8 major planets. And over the course of its long orbit, Pluto travels far above and far below the plane where the other planets move. At its highest point, Pluto can be more than 1 billion kilometers away from that flat surface. That is not a small deviation. That is a completely different layer of space. If you could watch Pluto from the side, you would not see a gentle ripple. You would see a steep, angled loop cutting through the planetary plane like a tilted ring leaning through a flat disk. Half of its time is spent above that plane, half below. And yet, the diagram never showed you this. It placed Pluto neatly in line with everything else, hiding the true shape of its orbit. But Pluto is not alone. It is one of thousands, perhaps millions, of objects beyond Neptune, many of which follow similarly tilted paths. Some are even more extreme. Some move at angles that feel almost disconnected from the original disk. This region is no longer governed by the same quiet order as the inner solar system. Here, the influence of the giant planets, especially Neptune, has scattered objects into new configurations. Gravitational interactions over billions of years have stretched orbits, tilted them, reshaped them into something far more complex than a simple ring. The further you go, the more freedom objects have to move in 3 dimensions, and the more the solar system begins to feel volumetric, not flat, not layered like a sheet, but extended. There is another subtle shift happening here. The farther from the Sun an object orbits, the weaker the Sun's gravitational grip becomes relative to disturbances. That means it takes less force to tilt an orbit, less interaction to send an object drifting away from the original plane. Closer to the Sun, gravity enforces order. It keeps things aligned, stable, predictable. But farther out, that order loosens. And with that looseness comes variation. Inclinations grow. Paths stretch. Orbits begin to explore space above and below the ecliptic more freely. You are beginning to see a pattern. The inner solar system is thin and orderly. The asteroid belt is thicker and more varied. The Kuiper Belt is thicker still, with populations that clearly extend above and below the plane. It is not a sudden change. It is a gradual transformation, a transition from flatness into depth. And this transition is leading somewhere. Because even here, even with Pluto's tilted path and the Kuiper Belt's thick structure, there is still a faint memory of the original disk, a preference, however weak, for the ecliptic plane. But that preference will not last. As we move even farther outward, beyond this region, we will reach a place where that memory disappears completely, where objects no longer care about the plane at all, where orbits come from every direction, above, below, every angle in between. And when we reach that place, the idea of a flat solar system will not just feel incomplete, it will feel irrelevant, because what lies ahead is not a disk, it is not even a thickened ring, it is something else entirely, something vast, quiet, and almost perfectly spherical. Up to this point, the solar system has been slowly expanding in your mind. First, a flat line, then a thin disk, then a thicker region filled with tilted orbits, each step gently loosening the idea that everything exists on a single plane. But now, something more profound begins to happen. The structure doesn't just get thicker, it begins to lose its shape entirely. Because beyond the Kuiper Belt, beyond the scattered objects with tilted paths, there exists a region where the idea of a plane starts to fade away, not gradually, but fundamentally. This is where the solar system stops behaving like a disk and begins to resemble something closer to a cloud. At the edge of the Kuiper Belt, you start to encounter objects whose orbits are not just tilted, but stretched and displaced in ways that feel almost disconnected from the original structure. These are part of what astronomers call the scattered disk. The name itself gives you a clue. These objects were not formed where they are now. They were scattered there, pushed and pulled by the gravitational influence of the giant planets, especially Neptune, during the early history of the solar system. Their orbits are not neat circles. They are elongated, eccentric, and often steeply inclined. Some of them dive inward toward the sun before swinging far outward again, tracing enormous loops that take them across vast regions of space. And crucially, they do not stay near the ecliptic. Some of these objects orbit at inclinations of 30 degrees, 40 degrees, even more. Their paths cut through the solar system at sharp angles, crossing the planetary plane like invisible arcs slicing through a thin sheet. If you could see all of them at once, you wouldn't see a disk anymore. You would see a tangled three-dimensional swarm. But one of the most striking examples of this transition is an object called Eris. Discovered in 2005, Eris is similar in size to Pluto, but its orbit is far more extreme. It is tilted by about 44 degrees relative to the ecliptic. That is not a gentle deviation. That is nearly halfway to being perpendicular. Eris spends most of its time far above or far below the plane where the planets orbit, moving through regions of space that the flat diagram never even acknowledges. Its path is not just outside the disk. It exists in a different geometric reality, and there are others like it, objects with inclinations so steep that they seem to ignore the original structure entirely. Some even orbit in the opposite direction from the planet, what astronomers call retrograde motion, with inclinations greater than 90 degrees. These are not small exceptions. They are signals that the solar system is no longer organized around a single plane. As you move outward, the memory of that original disk fades. The gravitational influence of the sun weakens. The shaping force of the early protoplanetary disk becomes less dominant, and in its place, randomness begins to grow. Not chaos in the violent sense, but freedom. Freedom for objects to move in any direction. Freedom for orbits to tilt, stretch, and wander through space without returning to a single flat alignment. This is the turning point, the moment where the solar system stops being something you can flatten into a diagram and starts becoming something you have to imagine as a volume, a space filled with paths, crossing and looping and rising and falling in every direction. And yet, even here, and there is still something holding it all together. Gravity. The sun's gravity still reaches out, still binds these distant objects, still keeps them part of the same system. But that grip is weaker now, softer, more easily disturbed by outside influences. Passing stars, galactic tides, slow, subtle forces that act over millions of years. These influences continue to reshape the outer solar system, nudging objects into new orbits, tilting them further, scattering them wider. And as this process continues, the structure becomes less like a disk and more like a cloud. Not a dense cloud you could see, but a vast, sparse distribution of objects spread out in all directions with no single plane defining their motion. You are approaching something important now, and something that answers the original question in a way that feels almost paradoxical. Because when the solar system becomes a cloud, when objects orbit in every direction, when there is no longer a preferred plane. The idea of above and below begins to lose its meaning entirely. There is no top of a cloud. There is no bottom, only a center, and everything extending outward from it. And just beyond this transition, there's a structure that takes this idea to its final form. A structure so vast, so distant, and so perfectly three-dimensional that it completely replaces the flat image you started with. We're getting closer to it now, and when you see it, even in your imagination, the solar system will no longer feel like something you look at from above. It will feel like something that surrounds you in every direction, quietly, incompletely, endlessly. At this point, the solar system no longer feels flat, not even slightly. The planets form a thin inner layer. The asteroid belt adds thickness. The Kuiper Belt stretches it further, and the scattered disk breaks the structure into something loose and three-dimensional. But even now, there's still a faint sense of direction, a lingering memory of the original disk. Most objects, even the tilted ones, still seem to prefer being somewhere near that invisible plane. But now, that preference begins to disappear, not all at once, but quietly, steadily, as you move into a region where orbits no longer cluster around the ecliptic at all. Instead, they begin to appear from every angle, every direction, as if the solar system is no longer organized around a plane, but around a center. This is where comets begin to tell a different story. Comets are some of the most revealing objects in the solar system, not because of what they are made of, but because of how they move. Their orbits carry them across enormous distances, from the outermost edges of the sun's influence all the way into the inner solar system, where they briefly become visible as glowing streaks of ice and dust. And when astronomers began to study their paths carefully, something unexpected appeared. Not all comets behave the same way. Some, known as short-period comets, follow paths that are still somewhat aligned with the ecliptic. Their inclinations are relatively low, often within 30 degrees of the planetary plane. These comets likely originate from the Kuiper Belt or the scattered disk, and they still carry a memory of that flattened structure. But others are very different. Long-period comets, those that take hundreds, thousands, or even millions of years to complete a single orbit, do not follow any preferred plane at all. They arrive from every possible direction. Above the ecliptic, below the ecliptic, from angles that feel random, unpredictable, completely detached from the flat structure you started with. Some of them move in the same direction as the planets, orbiting the sun in a prograde motion. Others move in the opposite direction, orbiting retrograde, against the flow of everything else. Their inclinations can be anything from 0 degrees to nearly 180 degrees. There is no pattern, no alignment, no flatness, and that observation leads to something important. If these comets come from every direction equally, then the place they come from must also exist in every direction equally, because a flat disk could never produce this pattern. A disk would send objects mostly along its plane, with only small deviations above and below. It would not create a distribution where objects arrive from all angles with equal probability. Only one structure can do that: a sphere. This is the first real hint that the solar system, at its largest scale, is not a disk at all. It is something much more complete. a three-dimensional envelope surrounding the Sun, extending outward in every direction with no preferred orientation, no top, no bottom. But at this stage, you cannot see it directly. No telescope has ever captured an image of this structure. It is too distant, too faint, too sparse. Instead, it reveals itself indirectly through the paths of the comets that occasionally fall inward toward the Sun. Each comet is like a messenger, a quiet signal from a place you cannot see, telling you something about the structure it came from. And what those signals collectively say is simple but profound. The solar system is surrounded, not by a ring, not by a disk, but by something that exists in every direction at once. This realization changes the question you started with. What lies above the solar system? What lies below it? These questions begin to feel less precise, because if objects exist equally in all directions, then above and below are no longer special. They're just two directions among infinitely many. And yet, there is still something deeply comforting about this. The idea that the solar system is not exposed, not sitting on a flat surface in empty space, but gently enclosed within a vast, invisible structure. A structure that extends outward in all directions, surrounding everything you know, even if you cannot see it. You are getting very close now, very close to the structure that fully answers the question. The one that takes the flat image you grew up with and quietly replaces it with something far more complete. Something spherical, something immense, something that stretches so far into space that it begins to blur the boundary between the solar system and the stars beyond. And when you finally see it, even just as an idea, the question of above and below will no longer feel important, because you will realize that you are not standing beneath the solar system or above it. You are inside it, surrounded by it, in every direction at once. You've been moving outward for a while now, from the familiar orbits of the planets, through the tilted paths of asteroids, past the thickened structure of the Kuiper Belt, and into the scattered three-dimensional expanse beyond it. Each step has gently taken you further away from the idea of a flat solar system. And now you are about to reach something different, not just another region, not just a thicker layer, but a boundary that doesn't look like a boundary at all. Because what lies ahead is not the edge of a disk. It is the beginning of a sphere, a vast invisible structure that surrounds the entire solar system in every direction, extending so far into space that it becomes difficult to imagine in human terms. This is known as the Oort Cloud. Unlike everything you've encountered so far, the Oort Cloud is not a ring. It is not a belt. It is not aligned to any plane. It does not sit above or below the solar system because it surrounds it completely. If you could step outside the solar system and look back at it from a great distance, you would not see a flat disk with empty space above and below. You would see a faint central region with a planet's orbit embedded within a much larger, nearly spherical cloud of icy objects. The planets would be almost invisible at that scale. The entire structure you once thought of as the solar system would shrink into a tiny, thin layer at the center of something far larger. The Oort Cloud is believed to begin at a distance of roughly 2,000 to 5,000 astronomical units from the Sun. To put that into perspective, Neptune orbits at about 30 astronomical units, so the inner edge of the Oort Cloud is already dozens of times farther away than the outermost planet. And it doesn't stop there. It extends outward to distances of 50,000, perhaps even 100,000 astronomical units. That is nearly 1.6 light years, almost halfway to the nearest star, Proxima Centauri. This means that the true extent of the solar system, if defined by the Sun's gravitational influence, is not a few billion kilometers across, but a sphere nearly 2 light years in diameter. The flat diagram you grew up with shows less than a fraction of a percent of that space. The rest was always there, just unseen. The Oort Cloud is composed of countless icy bodies, remnants from the early solar system that were scattered outward by gravitational interactions with the giant planets. Some were flung so far that they now exist in this distant, spherical distribution loosely bound to the Sun. These objects are incredibly far apart. Even though there may be trillions of them, the distances between them are so vast that if you were placed inside the Oort Cloud, you would see nothing around you. No nearby objects, no visible structure, just darkness, with the Sun appearing as a distant star. And yet, it is there, surrounding everything, in every direction, above the ecliptic, below it, and everywhere in between. This is the place from which long-period comets originate. When something disturbs one of these distant objects, perhaps the gravitational pull of a passing star, or the subtle influence of the galaxy itself, it can be nudged inward, beginning a long journey toward the Sun. And when it finally arrives, glowing briefly in the inner solar system, it carries with it a message from this distant region, a reminder that the solar system does not end where the planets end. It does not end at the Kuiper Belt. It does not even end at the scattered disk. It continues outward, quietly, invisibly, into a vast spherical envelope that defines its true shape. And this changes everything about the original question. What lies above the solar system? The answer is no longer a place. It is the same thing that lies below it, and beside it, and in every direction. The Oort Cloud does not have a top or a bottom. It does not have an orientation. It simply exists, centered on the Sun, extending outward equally in all directions. So if you could travel straight upward from the ecliptic, perpendicular to the orbits of the planets, you would not leave the solar system. You would enter the Oort Cloud, and you would remain within it for more than a light year before finally reaching the edge where the Sun's gravitational influence begins to fade into interstellar space. The same would be true if you travel downward, or sideways, or in any direction at all, because at this scale, direction has lost its meaning. There is no above, there's no below, there's only distance from the center, and you are already inside it. This is the moment where the flat image fully dissolves, not into something chaotic, but into something complete, a sphere, quiet, enormous, almost empty, yet filled with ancient remnants of the solar system's formation. And as you begin to hold this image in your mind, something shifts. The solar system is no longer something you look at from the outside. It is something you exist within, surrounded by it, in every direction, even now. And beyond this sphere, beyond the reach of the Sun's gravity, lies something else entirely. Not another part of the solar system, but the beginning of something much larger. the space between the stars. At some point, even something as vast as the Oort Cloud must come to an end. Not abruptly, not with a clear boundary, but slowly, almost imperceptibly, as the sun's influence begins to weaken. And this is where the idea of an edge becomes difficult, because the solar system does not end like a wall. It does not stop at a line you can cross. Instead, it fades. The gravitational pull of the sun grows weaker with distance. Objects farther away are held more loosely, more gently, until eventually the gravity of other stars and the galaxy itself begin to matter just as much, or even more. Somewhere out there, far beyond the outermost reaches of the Oort Cloud, an object could drift without truly belonging to the sun anymore. It would no longer be bound in a stable orbit. It would simply move through space, influenced by many gravitational forces at once. This is the true transition, not from something to nothing, but from one influence to many. And yet, there is another boundary that is often mentioned, one that seems more defined, more tangible. This is called the heliopause. The heliopause is not the edge of gravity. It is the edge of the solar wind, the constant stream of charged particles flowing outward from the sun. This wind creates a vast bubble in space, pushing against the interstellar medium, the thin gas that exists between stars. At a distance of about 120 to 140 astronomical units, this outward flow slows, meets resistance. It can then eventually gives way to the surrounding interstellar environment. This is where spacecraft like Voyager 1 and Voyager 2 have traveled. When Voyager 1 crossed this boundary in 2012, it was often said that it had left the solar system. But that is only partly true. It had left the sun's influence as a source of particles and energy, but it had not left the sun's gravity. It is still, even now, deep inside the Oort Cloud, still within the vast sphere that defines the solar system at its largest scale. To truly leave the solar system, Voyager would need to travel for tens of thousands of years more, slowly crossing the immense distances of that outer cloud. This reveals something subtle but important. The solar system has layers, different definitions, different edges, depending on how you choose to define them. If you define it by the planets, it ends at Neptune. If you define it by small icy bodies, it extends through the Kuiper Belt and beyond. If you define it by gravitational influence, it stretches all the way through the Oort Cloud. And if you define it by solar wind, it ends much closer, at the heliopause. Each of these is valid. Each tells a different story. But none of them are flat. None of them have a top or a bottom. As you move outward, something else becomes clear. The space between objects becomes larger, far larger. Inside the inner solar system, distances are vast, but objects are still relatively close compared to what comes next. Planets, asteroids, moons, all within a structured region. But beyond that, especially in the outer reaches of the Oort Cloud, the emptiness becomes overwhelming. Even if there are trillions of objects, they are spread across such an enormous volume that the distance between them can be tens of millions of kilometers. If you were there, drifting through that region, you would see nothing around you. No nearby objects, no glowing structures, only darkness with the sun reduced to a bright star among many. And that is perhaps the most surprising part of all. The solar system, when seen at its true scale, is mostly empty, not just above or below, but in every direction. The planets, the sun, everything familiar, all of it exists in a tiny central region compared to the full extent of the system. The rest is silence, distance, space. And yet, even in that emptiness, there is still structure, still connection. Every object in the Oort Cloud, no matter how distant, still traces its origin back to the same moment, the same collapsing cloud, the same formation process that created the sun and the planets. They are distant, but they belong. And as you move beyond them, beyond the last faint traces of the sun's gravitational reach, something shifts again. You are no longer within a system. You are between systems. The space that surrounds the solar system in every direction is not empty in the absolute sense. It is filled with interstellar medium, a thin mixture of gas and dust spread across the galaxy. It is incredibly sparse, far more empty than anything we can create on Earth. And yet, it is the environment that connects all stars, above the solar system, below it, and in every direction. This interstellar space is the same. There is no preferred orientation, no special direction, just a vast, continuous medium that stretches from one star to the next. And this brings you back to the question that started everything. What lies above the solar system? At first, it seemed like there might be an answer, a place, a region, a direction. But now, the answer feels different. Above the solar system is not a destination. It is simply one direction outward, into the same vast structure that surrounds everything. The same is true for below. And as you begin to accept this, something becomes clearer. The solar system does not sit beneath something. It does not sit above something. It exists within something, a larger structure, a galaxy. And that galaxy will change the meaning of direction once again. Because even though the solar system itself has no true up or down, the galaxy introduces a new frame of reference, a new way to define above and below. And when you see how the solar system is tilted within that larger structure, the question you started with will take on a completely new meaning. Up to now, above and below have been quietly dissolving. First, they lost their meaning in the solar system. Then they blurred completely within the vast sphere of the Oort Cloud. Direction became relative, soft, almost optional. But now, something interesting happens. A new kind of up appears, not absolute, not universal, but larger than the one you started with. Because the solar system does not exist alone. It is part of something far bigger, the Milky Way galaxy. And unlike the solar system, the galaxy has a structure that feels familiar again, a shape that brings back the idea of a plane, a disk. The Milky Way is a vast spiral galaxy, stretching about 100,000 light years across. Most of its visible stars, gas, and dust are arranged in a relatively thin, rotating disk with spiral arms curving outward from a bright central bulge. And this disk defines something new, the galactic plane. This is the plane of the galaxy, the surface along which most stars orbit the galactic center. It is, in a sense, the flat structure of our larger cosmic neighborhood. And once again, you can define directions relative to it, above the galaxy, below the galaxy. But here's where it becomes quietly fascinating. The solar system does not lie flat within this galactic plane. It is tilted, by about 60 degrees. That means the familiar plane of the planets, the ecliptic, is angled sharply relative to the plane of the galaxy. If you could see both at once, and it would look like a tilted disk intersecting a much larger disk at an angle, like a plate leaning against a table. This changes everything about the idea of direction, because now there are two different ups. If you define up relative to the solar system, you are moving perpendicular to the ecliptic in a direction shaped by the orbits of the planets. But if you define up relative to the galaxy, you are moving perpendicular to the galactic plane in a completely different direction through space. These two directions are not the same. They point to different regions of the cosmos. They pass through different distributions of stars, gas, and structure, and neither one is more correct than the other. They are simply different choices. This is the quiet complexity of the universe. Every structure has its own frame of reference, and every frame defines its own version of above and below. And as you move outward from smaller structures to larger ones, those definitions shift. They rotate, they change. If you were to travel straight up from the solar system, following the ecliptic definition, you would not leave the galaxy directly. You would move at an angle through the galactic disk, gradually rising above it, but not in the most direct way. If instead you traveled up relative to the galaxy, you would leave the disk more directly, moving into regions where stars become less dense, where the structure thins out into something more diffuse. This is the beginning of the galactic halo, a region that surrounds the disk, extending far above and below it, filled with older stars, globular clusters, and something even more mysterious: dark matter. But before you get there, there is another motion to understand, because the solar system is not just tilted within the galaxy, it is moving. As the Sun orbits the center of the Milky Way at a speed of about 230 kilometers per second, it doesn't stay fixed within the galactic plane. Instead, it gently oscillates up and down through the galactic disk over tens of millions of years. This motion is slow, almost imperceptible, but it means that the solar system is constantly changing its position relative to the galaxy's plane, sometimes slightly above it, sometimes slightly below. Right now, we are just a little above the galactic midplane and slowly moving. This introduces a new kind of rhythm, a larger cycle, one that operates on timescales so vast that they are almost impossible to feel, and yet they shape the environment of the solar system in subtle ways. As the solar system moves through denser regions of the galaxy, gravitational interactions with nearby stars and clouds of gas can become more frequent. These interactions can disturb the distant objects of the Oort Cloud, sending comets inward toward the Sun. At other times, when the solar system is farther from the galactic plane, these disturbances become less common. The environment changes, not dramatically, but enough to matter, and all of this depends on where you are, relative to a plane. So once again, the idea of above returns, but in a new form, not tied to the solar system, but to the galaxy. And as you continue to zoom outward, something becomes clear. There is no single ultimate frame of reference, no final definition of up, only layers And the solar system has its plane. The galaxy has its plane. And beyond that, even larger structures exist, each with their own orientations, their own motions, their own definitions. And yet, none of them are absolute. They are all relative, all temporary, all part of a universe that does not prefer one direction over another. So when you ask what lies above the solar system, you now have two answers. One relative to the ecliptic, one relative to the galaxy. And both are true, but neither is final. Because as you move even further outward, beyond the galaxy itself, even this larger sense of direction will begin to dissolve once again. And what remains will be something even more subtle, something without orientation at all, just space, endless, quiet, and equally present in every direction. If you continue traveling up, not by the solar system's definition, but by the galaxy's, something begins to change again. At first, it is almost unnoticeable. The stars around you look the same. The night sky, if you could still call it that, remains filled with distant points of light. The Milky Way still stretches across your view, a soft band of brightness. But slowly, gently, the density begins to thin. Stars become slightly more spaced apart. The familiar, crowded structure of the galactic disk starts to loosen. The thick lanes of gas and dust that once traced the spiral arms begin to fade. You are leaving the main body of the galaxy, not in a dramatic way, not crossing a boundary, but drifting into a region where the structure becomes softer, more diffuse. This is the transition from the galactic disk into the galactic halo. The halo is not flat. It does not resemble a disk at all. Instead, it surrounds the galaxy in a roughly spherical shape, extending far above and below the plane where most stars reside. In this region, the stars you encounter are different, older, quieter. Many of them formed billions of years ago, long before the sun existed. They contain fewer heavy elements, meaning they were born at a time when the universe itself was younger, less enriched by the cycles of star formation and supernova explosions. These are ancient witnesses, objects that have been drifting through the galaxy for almost its entire history. And they are not alone. Scattered throughout the halo are globular clusters, dense, spherical collections of hundreds of thousands of stars bound tightly together. These clusters orbit the galaxy at great distances, some far above the galactic plane, some far below, tracing paths that are not aligned with the disk at all. They move in every direction. There's no preferred orientation here, no flatness, just a vast spherical distribution of objects, loosely connected by gravity, drifting through a space that feels increasingly empty. As you move farther into the halo, the number of stars continues to decrease. The galaxy, which once felt like a bright, structured system, begins to dissolve into something more sparse, more open, more quiet, and eventually, even the halo begins to thin. The stars become rare, the clusters disappear, and what remains is something you cannot see directly, but you can feel through its effects. Dark matter, an invisible component of the galaxy, making up most of its mass, extending far beyond the visible structure. It does not emit light. It does not interact with matter in any way we can easily detect, but its gravity shapes the motion of stars, holds the galaxy together, and defines its true size. This dark matter halo extends far beyond the stars you can see, forming a massive, spherical region that envelops the entire galaxy. And just like the Oort Cloud surrounding the solar system, this halo surrounds the Milky Way in every direction, above, below, and everywhere in between. Once again, the pattern repeats. A thin disk at the center, surrounded by a sphere, a structure that begins flat and becomes three-dimensional as you move outward. And now you are nearing the edge of even this, not the edge of space, but the edge of the galaxy itself. And beyond that edge, something even quieter waits. A space between galaxies, a region where structure becomes almost imperceptible, where direction loses meaning once more, and where the idea of above and below fades into something even more subtle than before. When you finally leave the galaxy, there is no moment that announces it. No line, no boundary, no sudden change in scenery. The stars simply become so sparse that you begin to notice their absence. The Milky Way, once surrounding you as a luminous disk, now lies behind you, a distant structure, glowing softly across the darkness. And ahead of you, there's almost nothing. This is intergalactic space, the space between galaxies. It is not completely empty, but it is as close to emptiness as the universe allows. The density of matter here is incredibly low, often just a few atoms per cubic meter. There is no structure like the one you have left behind. No disk, no halo, no clustering of stars, just distance, vast, unbroken distance. And yet, even here, there is still something, a faint presence, a thin medium of gas, mostly hydrogen, stretching across the universe, invisible to your eyes but present nonetheless, connecting galaxies in a subtle, almost ghost-like way. If you were to look around, you would see other galaxies, some closer, some farther. The nearest large galaxy, Andromeda, would appear as a faint, extended glow, millions of light years away. Smaller galaxies, dwarf systems, would be scattered throughout space, each one its own island of stars, and between them, silence, no preferred direction, no sense of up or down, just an even distribution of space in all directions. At this scale, the question that began your journey becomes almost unrecognizable. What lies above the solar system? What lies below it? Those words no longer feel useful, because now there is no central plane to reference, no structure that defines a top or a bottom, only a universe that extends equally in every direction. This is perhaps the most profound shift of all. At small scales, direction feels real. On Earth, gravity defines up and down. In the solar system, the ecliptic gives you a reference. In the galaxy, the disk creates a new orientation. But beyond all of that, direction disappears. Not because space becomes chaotic, but because it becomes uniform, symmetrical, without preference. Every direction is the same. Every path leads outward into the same vastness. And this is the final answer, though it doesn't feel like one. Above the solar system is not a place. Below the solar system is not a place. And they are simply directions chosen relative to something smaller, something local. In reality, the solar system is not beneath anything. It is not above anything. It exists within something, a universe that surrounds it completely. And as you rest with that thought, something softens. The need for orientation fades. The need to know where up is gently disappears. And what remains is something simpler. You are not standing beneath the cosmos. You are not looking up into it. You're inside it, surrounded by it, in every direction at once, quietly held within a universe that has no top, no bottom, no edge, only space, endless and still. By now, something subtle has shifted in the way you imagine space. At the beginning, everything felt anchored. There was a clear sense of up and down, above and below, in a natural orientation shaped by your experience on Earth. The solar system seemed like a flat structure, something you could step above or below, something with a clear top and bottom. But as you moved outward, that certainty began to dissolve, first gently, then completely. And now, here in the vastness beyond galaxies, direction itself has become something else. Not a rule, but a choice. Because in a universe without a preferred orientation, any direction you choose can become up. You could take the path that leads away from the ecliptic and call that above. You could align yourself with the galactic plane and define a different up entirely. You could even orient yourself relative to the motion of your own body, or the distant glow of background radiation left over from the earliest moments of the universe. Each of these choices would be valid. Each would give you a different sense of direction, and none would be more correct than the others. This is one of the deepest ideas in modern physics. There is no absolute frame of reference, no fixed grid laid across the universe. Space does not come with built-in coordinates. Instead, everything is defined relative to something else. Motion is relative. Position is relative. Even time in the framework of relativity is not the same for every observer. And direction, something that feels so instinctive, so obvious, is also relative. When you say above, you are always saying above something, above the ground, above the ecliptic, above the galaxy. But remove that reference and the word loses its meaning. It becomes empty. And yet, this does not make the universe confusing. If anything, it makes it quieter, softer, because instead of forcing space into rigid directions, you begin to experience it as something more open, more fluid, a place where orientation is not imposed, but chosen, where you are free to define your own frame, your own perspective, your own sense of up and down. And this freedom is not chaotic, it is gentle. It allows you to move through the universe without needing to fix your position within it, without needing to know where the top is, because there is no top, only perspective, only relation. And this brings you back slowly to the solar system, not as a flat diagram, not as a fixed structure, but as something embedded within this larger, directionless expanse. The ecliptic plane still exists, but now you understand it differently. Not as a surface, not as a boundary, but as a reference, a useful one, a meaningful one, but still just one of many possible ways to describe the same reality. The same is true for the galactic plane and for every larger structure beyond it. Each one gives you a way to orient yourself, a way to describe motion and position. But none of them define the universe itself. They are tools, not truths. And once you begin to feel this, something changes in how you relate to space. You are no longer trying to find your place within a rigid structure. You are simply existing within a vast, open system where every direction is equally valid, and that realization, though subtle, carries a kind of calm, a quiet sense that you do not need to hold on to orientation, that you can let go of the need to define where you are relative to some fixed above, and instead simply be floating, drifting, and existing within a universe that surrounds you completely, without preference, without hierarchy, without direction. Now, gently, we begin to come back, not in distance, but in perspective. After traveling outward through the layers of the solar system, beyond the galaxy, into the quiet between galaxies, you can begin to look again at the place where you started. But this time, it feels different. The solar system is no longer a flat image in your mind. It is not a line of planets, not a simple disk. It is something more complete, more dimensional, more real. At its center is the sun, a star like many others, quietly holding everything together through gravity. Around it, the planets move, not perfectly aligned, but close enough to form a thin inner structure, a memory of the disk from which they formed. Beyond them, the asteroid belt adds thickness, then the Kuiper Belt, wider, more varied, filled with objects that begin to drift above and below the plane. Beyond that, the scattered disk, where orbits stretch and tilt and wander through space in 3 dimensions. And finally, the Oort Cloud, a vast spherical envelope surrounding everything, extending more than a light year in every direction. This is the true shape of the solar system. Not a flat diagram, but a layered structure, a thin center, surrounded by thicker regions, expanding outward until it becomes a sphere. And within that sphere, there is no above, no below, only distance from the center. And beyond that sphere, the galaxy, a disk again, but larger, tilted relative to the solar system, moving, rotating, carrying everything with it. And beyond that, the halo, then intergalactic space. And beyond that, more galaxies, more structures, more layers, each one adding scale, each one reshaping your sense of direction, until eventually the idea of up and down becomes something you can choose rather than something you must obey. And now, as you return your attention to the solar system, you can see it not as something isolated, but as part of this larger pattern, a small structure within a larger one, a disk within a sphere within a galaxy within a universe. And at every level, the same quiet truth appears. There's no fixed orientation, no absolute above, no absolute below, only perspective, only relation, only space. And you, here on Earth, are part of it, not beneath it, not above it, but within it, surrounded in every direction by the same vast, quiet expanse. And as that thought settles in, gently, without urgency, without the need to fully grasp it, something begins to soften again. The need to visualize everything perfectly, the need to understand every layer, it begins to fade because you don't need to hold the entire universe in your mind. You only need to feel it as something wide, something open, something that extends in every direction quietly, endlessly, and you are already resting inside it. There is something strangely calming about realizing how small the familiar really is, not in a frightening way, not in a way that diminishes you, but in a way that softens the need to hold on to it so tightly. Because when you return gently to Earth, to your place within the solar system, you begin to see it differently, not as the center of everything, but as the center of your experience, a small, quiet point within a vast structure that extends in every direction, far beyond anything you can see. The Earth orbits the Sun at a distance of about 150 million kilometers. That distance once felt enormous, almost unimaginable. And yet, now, it feels like a small circle within a much larger space. The Sun itself, so dominant in the sky, is just one star among hundreds of billions in the Milky Way. And the solar system, which once felt like a complete map of your cosmic surroundings, is only a tiny region within a much larger structure. And yet, this does not make it insignificant. It makes it intimate, because this is where you are. This is the layer of the universe that you can touch, that you can observe, that you can understand in a direct way. You are not lost in the vastness. You are resting within a specific place inside it. A place with structure, with motion, with gentle rhythms that continue whether you notice them or not. The Earth rotates slowly beneath you, completing one full turn every 24 hours. The Sun rises and sets, not because it moves around you, but because you are moving with the Earth. The Earth orbits the Sun once every year, tracing a path through space that feels stable, predictable, comforting. And the solar system itself is moving, orbiting the center of the galaxy, carried along in a slow, graceful arc that takes hundreds of millions of years to complete. All of these motions are happening right now, quietly, continuously, without interruption. And yet, you do not feel them, because you are part of them. You are not observing the motion from the outside. You are inside it, moving with it. And this is where something becomes clear. The idea of above and below was never really about space. It was about perspective. On Earth, your body gives you a reference. Gravity gives you a direction. The ground becomes down and the sky becomes up. But once you step beyond that local experience, those directions dissolve. And what replaces them is not confusion. It is openness, a sense that you are not bound to a single orientation, that the universe does not impose a direction on you. It simply exists around you, in every direction. And this realization can feel surprisingly gentle because it removes something. The need to locate yourself in a hierarchy of space, the need to know what is above you, the need to imagine something pressing down from above, or something waiting below. Instead, you are free to exist within the center of your own experience, knowing that there is no true top or bottom to the universe, only layers, only structures nested within structures, only space extending outward in every direction without preference, and you are already in the middle of it. Not the center of the universe, but the center of your awareness. And that is enough, more than enough, because from here, from this quiet point, you can imagine outward, gently, without needing to hold on to every detail, without needing to resolve every scale, just allowing the idea to expand, slowly, softly, like a breath. Now, imagine for a moment that you let go completely, not physically, but mentally. You release the idea of standing on a surface. You release the sense that there is a ground beneath you or a sky above you. And instead, you allow yourself to drift, not falling, not rising, just existing in place, suspended within space. There's no force pulling you downward, no direction guiding you upward, only stillness. And in that stillness, something interesting happens. Without a defined up, Your mind begins to relax its need for orientation. You no longer need to correct yourself, no longer need to know which way is forward, which way is back. Every direction becomes equally valid. You could turn slowly, rotate gently, and nothing would change. The stars would shift around you, but there would be no sense of disorientation, because there is no correct way to face. This is what space is like, beyond the influence of a single dominant gravity. Not chaotic, not confusing, but quietly neutral, balanced. Every direction is the same, and in that sameness, there is a kind of peace, because there is nothing you need to align with, nothing you need to hold on to. You are not falling through space. You are simply in it. And the solar system, the galaxy, the universe itself, all exist around you in this same way. Not above you, not below you, but surrounding you. If you were to extend your awareness outward, you would find the sun in one direction, the distant stars in another, the faint glow of the galaxy stretching across space. But none of these directions are fixed. They're only positions relative to you, and you are free to choose how you see them. You could imagine the sun below you and the galaxy above, or the opposite, or neither. It makes no difference, because the universe does not enforce a perspective. It allows you to create one. And this is where the journey becomes less about structure and more about feeling, less about mapping space and more about experiencing it. You are floating within a vast, quiet expanse. The solar system is around you. The galaxy is around you. The universe is around you, not pressing in, not overwhelming, just present. And as you rest in that idea, without trying to define it too sharply, something begins to settle. The need to understand everything, the need to visualize every layer. It gently fades, and what remains is something simpler. You are here, in a small, quiet place, within an infinite space, not beneath it, not above it, but within it. And there is nothing you need to do, nowhere you need to go. Just this quiet awareness, this gentle drifting, this sense of being held within something vast and calm and endless. At some point, the mind quietly asks a final question. If there is no up, no down, no above or below, then where does it all end? It feels natural to imagine that somewhere, far beyond everything you've explored, there must be a boundary, a place where space stops, a surface you could reach if only you traveled far enough. But the universe does not offer that, not in the way your intuition expects. As far as we understand today, the observable universe has no edge you could arrive at. There's no wall, no outer shell, no final horizon where space simply ends and something else begins. Instead, there is a limit to what you can see, a horizon defined not by space itself, but by time. Light travels at a finite speed, about 300,000 kilometers per second. And because the universe has a finite age, about 13.8 billion years, and there are regions of space so distant that their light has not yet had time to reach you. This creates what we call the observable universe, a vast sphere centered on you, extending in every direction as far as light has been able to travel since the beginning of time. But this sphere is not the edge of everything. It is only the edge of what you can observe. Beyond it, space continues, silently, endlessly, in every direction. And here again, the pattern repeats. A center defined by your position, a sphere defined by what you can perceive. And beyond that sphere, something larger that you cannot directly see, but know must exist. There is no special direction where the universe ends, no top where everything stops, no bottom where space falls away. Every direction leads outward into more of the same. More space, more structure, a more quiet distance. And this realization can feel almost paradoxical because your mind wants a boundary. It wants a place to stop, a place to say, this is the end. But the universe does not provide that. It simply continues. And yet, this does not need to feel overwhelming because you are not traveling to that edge. You are not required to reach it. You exist within a small, stable region of this vast expanse, a place where structures form, where stars gather, where planets orbit, where life somehow emerges. The infinite does not demand anything from you. It simply exists, and you are already within it. There is nowhere you need to go to understand it fully, no distance you must cross. Only the quiet awareness that whatever direction you imagine, space continues, softly, without interruption, without boundary. And that can be enough, more than enough, because the absence of an edge does not remove your place in the universe. It gently expands it. You are not near the edge of something fragile. You are within something vast, something that does not confine you, something that does not end. And as that thought settles slowly, without urgency, it begins to feel less like a question and more like a quiet background truth. The universe does not need a top. It does not need a bottom. It simply is, and you are within it. Now, everything you've explored begins to come together. The flat image of the solar system, the tilted orbits of planets and asteroids, the thickening layers beyond Neptune, the scattered disk, the vast spherical Oort Cloud, the galaxy tilted and moving, the halo, the space between galaxies, and finally, the universe itself, and without edge, without orientation, extending in every direction. All of it forms a kind of quiet progression, a journey from certainty into openness, from structure into space, from direction into freedom. And at the center of this entire experience is you, not at the center of the universe, but at the center of your awareness of it. And that distinction matters because you do not need to hold the entire structure in your mind. You do not need to map every layer, measure every distance, or understand every motion. You only need to feel where you are, here on a small planet, orbiting a star, within a system that extends far beyond what you can see, inside a galaxy, inside a universe that has no preferred direction. And as you sit with that, something begins to soften again. The scale is still vast, the distances still enormous, but the feeling changes. It becomes quieter, less about size, more about presence. You are not looking up at the universe. You are not beneath it. You are within it, resting inside it. And everything you've imagined, every layer you've traveled through, is not separate from you. It surrounds you, gently, completely, in every direction. There's no need to orient yourself within it. No need to find a top or a bottom, because wherever you are, that is your center. And every direction outward from you is equally valid, equally real, equally infinite. And that symmetry carries a kind of calm, a balance, a sense that you are not falling through space. You are held within it, not by a force, not by a boundary, but by the simple fact that you exist within a universe that has no edges pressing against you, no direction forcing you, only space, yet open, still, endless. And as you let that idea settle, slowly, gently, without trying to fully grasp it, something begins to fade. The need to define, the need to understand every detail, the need to hold on to structure. And what remains is something softer, a quiet awareness, a gentle presence. You are here, in a vast, directionless cosmos, surrounded by everything, held by nothing, and somehow completely at peace within it. Even now, after everything you've seen, there's still a small part of the mind that holds on. A quiet instinct, a habit built over a lifetime. The feeling that up must exist somewhere, that if you just zoom out far enough, there will be a final frame of reference, a true direction, a universal orientation that everything else aligns to. But there isn't. And this is the last illusion to gently let go of, because even the larger structures we know, galaxies, clusters, superclusters, they do not define a universal up. They have shapes, yes. They have motion. They form patterns across immense distances, but none of them establish a direction that the universe obeys. Even the largest scale structure we can observe, the cosmic web, a vast network of galaxy clusters connected by filaments of matter stretching across billions of light years, has no preferred orientation. It extends in every direction, not randomly, but symmetrically, balanced. There is no top to the cosmic web, no bottom, just connections. And beyond even that, there is something more subtle, the cosmic microwave background, a faint radiation left over from the earliest moments of the universe, filling all of space almost perfectly evenly. In every direction you look, this background radiation appears nearly the same. There are tiny fluctuations, slight differences in temperature, but no large-scale direction, no axis that defines an up. The universe, at its largest scale, is isotropic, meaning it looks the same in all directions. And this is one of the most important observations in modern cosmology. It tells us that the universe does not favor one direction over another. There is no hidden orientation, no cosmic axis pointing up, no grand alignment that everything follows, only local structures, local planes, local definitions of direction, each one valid within its own context, each one fading as you zoom out. And this realization does not remove structure from the universe. It reveals something deeper. That structure exists without hierarchy, without a top or bottom, without a final reference point. Everything is relative. Everything is contextual. Everything is gently embedded within something larger, which itself has no preferred direction. And as this idea settles, it changes the way you think about your place in the universe. You are not beneath something. You are not below a greater structure. You are not looking up toward a higher level of reality. You are simply within layers of structure that extend outward in every direction, without preference, without orientation, without end. And that can feel surprisingly peaceful, because it removes something, the sense that you are at the bottom of something vast, the sense that there is something above you, something higher, something distant and unreachable. Instead, everything is equally distant, equally present, equally real, in every direction. and you are already in the middle of it. Now the journey begins to slow, not because there is nowhere else to go, but because you no longer need to go anywhere. You have seen the layers, felt the scale, let go of the need for direction, and what remains is something quieter, something simpler. You are here, on a small planet, in a vast universe, and there is no above you, no below you, only space, extending outward in every direction, holding everything within it. The solar system surrounds you, the galaxy surrounds you, the universe surrounds you, not pressing in, not overwhelming, just present. And as you rest with that idea, your mind no longer tries to map it. It doesn't need to. The details soften, the structures blur, the distances fade into something less defined. What remains is a feeling, a sense of openness, of stillness, of being gently suspended within something vast and calm. There's no need to orient yourself, no need to decide which way is up, no need to understand every layer, because wherever you are, that is your center, and every direction outward is equally valid, equally infinite, and this symmetry carries you into a quieter space, a softer awareness, where thoughts slow down, where the need for clarity fades, where the universe becomes less of something to understand and more of something to feel. You are not looking at it, you are within it, resting inside it, drifting gently without movement, held not by force but by presence. And as you let yourself settle into that feeling, the journey naturally begins to fade, not ending, just dissolving, like a thought that becomes softer, quieter, less defined. You are safe here. There is nothing you need to do, nothing you need to follow, just this quiet space, this gentle awareness, this endless, directionless cosmos surrounding you on all sides. And slowly, without effort, without intention, you can begin to drift, further inward, further into stillness, further into rest. Now there is nothing left to figure out, no more layers to uncover, no more structures to map, only the quiet presence of space gently surrounding you. And as the need to understand fades, something else begins to take its place. Stillness, not the absence of motion, because everything is still moving, the earth turning, the sun drifting, the galaxy rotating, but a deeper kind of stillness, a stillness in perception, a stillness in awareness. You are no longer chasing ideas. You are resting within them. In the universe is no longer something distant. It is something you are already inside. And in that realization, your mind begins to soften its edges. Thoughts become slower, more spaced apart, like stars in a sky that is gradually dimming. You don't need to hold on to any single idea now, not the shape of the solar system, not the structure of the galaxy, not even the vastness of the universe itself. You can let all of it drift, because it will remain whether you hold it or not. And as you let go, your awareness becomes lighter, less focused on details, more open, more diffuse, like the outer edges of the Oort Cloud, where objects drift quietly, far from the center, held gently by gravity, but free to move through space. There is no urgency here, no direction you need to follow, no path you need to stay on, only a gentle sense of being, present, floating, at ease. And as you remain in that state, your body begins to follow. Your breathing slows, your muscles soften, your thoughts, once structured and deliberate, begin to lose their sharpness. They become impressions, faint shapes, soft echoes. You may notice them drifting in and out, not needing to be completed, not needing to be understood, just passing, like distant comets, moving quietly through the vastness, and you do not need to follow them. You can simply remain here, in this quiet center of awareness, letting everything else move around you, or not, because even movement begins to feel optional. Even time begins to feel softer, less defined. And this is where rest begins, not as something you do, but as something that happens naturally, gently, without effort. You are not trying to sleep, but you are simply allowing yourself to settle, to drift, to become lighter within your own awareness. And the universe, vast and directionless, continues around you, unchanged, unhurried, quiet. At this point, thoughts may still come, small ones, fragments, images, but they no longer feel solid. They no longer ask for your attention. They arrive and then they fade, like faint signals from far away, and you can let them pass without holding, without following, without needing to complete them, because there is nothing left to solve, nothing left to understand, only this gentle drifting, this quiet presence. You may begin to notice the space between thoughts, the pauses, the still moments where nothing is happening, and those moments begin to stretch, just a little, then a little more, until the silence between thoughts becomes more noticeable than the thoughts themselves. And in that silence, there is a kind of calm, not something you create, but something that was always there, waiting beneath the movement of the mind. And as you rest there, your awareness begins to spread, not outward in a focused way, but softly, like a field. You are no longer centered in a single point. You are simply present, without needing to define where that presence begins or ends. And in that state, direction becomes completely irrelevant. There is no above, no below, no sense of orientation, only a quiet, open awareness, resting, floating, still. The universe is still there, the solar system, the galaxy, the vast structures you explored, but they are no longer sharp images. They are impressions, gentle reminders of something vast and calm. And you are part of that, not separate, not observant from the outside, but existing within it, effortlessly. And as your body continues to relax, your breathing becoming slower, deeper, more natural, you may begin to feel a subtle heaviness, not uncomfortable, but grounding, a gentle pull toward rest, toward stillness, toward sleep. And you can allow that, without thinking about it, without trying to control it, just letting it happen, letting yourself drift further and further into quiet, further away from thought, further into rest. And as everything softens, the universe remains endless, directionless, calm, holding you gently as you drift and drift and drift. At some point, without noticing exactly when, the vastness you were exploring begins to feel different. It no longer feels distant. It no longer feels like something you are trying to understand. Instead, it begins to feel like something you are resting inside, not falling through, not lost within, but gently held. There is no edge pressing against you, no direction pulling you away, only space surrounding you evenly, quietly, completely. And within that space, you remain calm, still, at ease. The idea of scale, once so overwhelming, now softens. Distances no longer matter. The difference between a planet and a galaxy fades into something less important, because you are not measuring anymore. You are simply feeling. And what you feel is not vastness in a sharp, overwhelming sense, but openness, a kind of quiet expansion that does not demand anything from you. You are not required to reach across it. You are not required to understand it. You are simply within it. And that is enough. Your breathing continues, slow and steady. Your body feels heavier now, more relaxed, more settled into stillness. Your thoughts have become quieter, more distant, less frequent, and the space between them grows, wider, softer, like the space between stars. And just as those stars drift quietly in the galaxy, your thoughts drift gently through your awareness, appearing, fading, leaving no trace behind. You don't need to follow them. You don't need to hold them. You can simply let them pass, because what matters now is not what you think, but how you feel. And what you feel is a quiet sense of being supported, not by something solid, not by something visible, but by the simple fact that you exist within a universe that has no edges pressing inward, nothing closing in, nothing collapsing around you, only openness, only space, only stillness. And within that stillness, you are safe. There's nowhere to fall, no direction that leads away from rest. Every direction leads into the same calm, the same quiet, the same gentle presence. And as you settle deeper into that feeling, your awareness begins to soften even more. Edges blur, details fade. The need to define anything at all begins to disappear. You are no longer holding the idea of the solar system, or the galaxy, or the universe. You are simply here, resting, floating, held within something vast and quiet. And that feeling continues to deepen, without effort, without intention, just naturally. Now everything begins to slow, not because something is ending, but because there is nothing left to continue. The journey has unfolded, the structures have softened, and the ideas have faded into something quieter. And what remains is a gentle awareness, a calm presence, a stillness that doesn't need to be maintained. It simply is. Your breathing is steady now, slow, even, effortless. Each breath in, soft and natural. Each breath out, a quiet release. Your body feels heavier, not in a way that weighs you down, but in a way that allows you to sink, to settle, to rest more fully. Your muscles are relaxed, your face soft, your eyes gently closed, and your mind no longer reaching, no longer searching, just drifting. Thoughts may still appear from time to time, but they are faint now, distant, like echoes that do not need to be followed. You can let them pass. You can let them dissolve, because there is nothing they need to do, nothing they need to become. And in their absence, the quiet grows deeper, more complete, more present. You may begin to notice a sense of space within your own awareness, a gentle openness, a softness that expands without direction. And within that space, you remain, unmoving, untroubled, at ease. There's no need to think about where you are, no need to remember the journey, no need to hold on to anything at all. Everything has already settled. Everything is already quiet, and you are free to drift further into that quiet, further into stillness, further into rest. The universe remains around you, endless, calm, without direction. But you no longer need to imagine it. You no longer need to feel its scale, only its quiet presence. And as that presence becomes softer and softer, you can allow yourself to fade with it, gently, naturally, without effort, drifting deeper into rest, into stillness, into sleep. And now there's nothing left to hold on to, no more ideas to follow, No more images to build, only a soft, quiet space where everything has already settled. Your breathing continues, slow and steady. In, soft and calm. Out, gentle and releasing. Each breath feels lighter now, as if it carries less and less with it. Your body is fully relaxed, loose, heavy, supported. There's no tension left to release, no effort left to make. Even the idea of drifting has softened. You are not moving anywhere. You are simply becoming still. Thoughts may come, very faint now, barely formed, like distant ripples that never quite reach the surface, and you can let them pass, without noticing, without following, without needing to respond, because there is nothing they need from you. You are already resting, already safe, already held within something vast and quiet. The universe is still there, endless, directionless, but it no longer feels like something to explore. It feels like something that surrounds you gently, evenly, completely. There is no above, no below, no need to orient yourself. Only this soft awareness, fading slowly into rest. Your breathing slows even more, natural, effortless. Each exhale a little longer, each inhale softer than the last, and your mind begins to follow, slowing, softening, letting go. You may begin to feel the edges of awareness becoming less defined, less clear, like a gentle fog settling in. There is no need to resist it, no need to stay alert. You can allow it, you can drift with it, further and further into quiet, further and further into stillness. You are safe now, completely safe, and there's nothing you need to do, nothing you need to think, nothing you need to hold on to. Just rest, just drift, just let go. And as everything softens, as everything becomes quieter, you can begin to fade gently into sleep. Drift away, drift away, drift away. Now even the idea of drifting begins to disappear. There's no movement left to imagine, no direction left to follow. Only a quiet space where everything has already come to rest. Your breathing is soft, barely noticeable, each inhale gentle, each exhale slower, longer, quieter. Your body feels completely at ease, loose, heavy, still, as if it has settled exactly where it belongs. There's nothing to adjust, nothing to correct, nothing to hold. Thoughts are no longer forming clearly, only faint impressions, soft echoes that fade before they fully appear, and you do not need to notice them. You do not need to understand them. They simply pass, like distant lights, far away, already fading. The universe you explored, the solar system, the galaxy, all of it has softened into something barely there. Not gone, just quiet, very quiet. You are no longer thinking about space. You are resting inside it, without effort, without awareness of scale, without any need to imagine. And in this stillness, something gentle remains, a quiet sense of safety, a feeling that nothing is moving too fast, nothing is changing too suddenly. Everything is slow, everything is calm, everything is exactly as it should be. There is no above, no below, no need to orient yourself at all. Only a soft presence surrounding you, holding you in place, without pressure, without force. You are safe now, safe to rest, safe to drift, safe to let go. Your breathing continues, slow, steady, quiet, and your awareness becomes lighter, softer, less defined, like something gently dissolving into stillness. You don't need to stay awake. You don't need to listen. You don't need to follow anything anymore. Just rest, just fade, just drift, gently into sleep. Drift away, drift away, drift away, Now even awareness itself begins to soften, not disappearing suddenly, but gently, gradually, like light fading at the end of the day. There's no clear boundary between waking and sleeping, only a slow transition, a quiet blending. Your breathing is deep and natural. In, soft, effortless. Out, slower, longer, releasing everything. Your body feels completely still now, not heavy anymore, just calm, supported, at rest. And there is no movement inside you, no tension, no need to adjust. You are exactly where you need to be. Thoughts are no longer forming, only faint traces remain, barely there, like distant echoes that never fully arrive, and you can let them go, without noticing, without effort, because they are already fading. The sense of space around you has become very soft, not vast, not overwhelming, just open, quiet, endless in a gentle way. There's no direction here, no above, no below, only a calm, even stillness that surrounds you completely. You are not moving through it, you are resting within it, completely safe, completely at ease. And as this quiet deepens, your awareness becomes lighter, softer, less defined, like something gently dissolving. You don't need to follow anything now. No words, no images, no thoughts. Just this soft, steady calm. Your breathing slows again, almost silent, almost still, and your mind follows, settling deeper and deeper and deeper into rest. There's nothing left to do, nothing left to hold, only this quiet, only this stillness, only this gentle drifting into sleep. Drift away, drift away, drift away. Now everything is quiet, so quiet that even the idea of quiet begins to fade. There's no need to listen anymore, no need to follow anything, only a soft, steady calm already surrounding you. Your breathing is slow, natural, almost invisible, in and out, each breath softer than the last. Your body is completely at rest, still, loose, at ease. There's no weight, no effort, no tension anywhere. Only a gentle sense of comfort, spreading quietly, without direction. Your mind is no longer active, no clear thoughts, no images, only a soft, a drifting awareness, fading further and further. If anything appears, it passes immediately, like something too distant to reach. And you don't need to notice it. You don't need to respond, because everything is already settling, already still, already at rest. The universe, once vast, once filled with structure and distance, is now only a feeling, a soft openness, a calm presence. Not something you see, not something you think about, just something that is quietly there. There's no above, no below, no center, no edge, only stillness, only calm, only rest. You are safe now, completely safe, with nothing to do, nowhere to go, nothing to follow, just this quiet, this soft stillness, this gentle fading. Your breathing continues, slow, soft, steady, and your awareness drifts with it, lower, quieter, deeper into rest. And there's no need to hold on, no need to stay awake, no need to notice when sleep arrives. It will come gently, naturally, on its own, and you can let it. You can allow yourself to fade, softly, quietly, without effort. Drift away, drift away, drift away. Now there is almost nothing left, no thoughts to follow, no images to hold, only a soft, steady quiet, already here. Your breathing is slow and even, so gentle now that it feels like it moves on its own, in and out, without effort, without awareness. Your body is completely still, not heavy, not light, just resting, supported, at ease. There's no tension anywhere, no need to adjust, no need to move. Everything has already settled. Your mind has softened beyond thought. There are no clear ideas forming, only faint traces that disappear before they begin, and even those are fading. And there's no need to notice anything, no need to stay present, no need to understand where you are, because you are already exactly where you need to be, safe, calm, at rest. The universe is no longer something you are aware of, not as an idea, not as a structure, only as a quiet presence that surrounds you without being noticed. There's no above, no below, no direction at all, only stillness, only calm, only this gentle, endless rest. And as everything continues to soften, your awareness becomes even lighter, almost gone, like something drifting away, without needing to return. Your breathing continues, slow, steady, quiet, and your mind follows, deeper and deeper into sleep. There is nothing left to do, nothing left to follow. Only this quiet, this stillness, this gentle fading. Drift away, drift away, drift away. Now even the feeling of drifting begins to disappear. There's no movement anymore, no sense of going anywhere, only rest, deep, quiet, complete. Your breathing is slow and natural, so soft that it feels like part of the stillness itself. In and out, barely noticeable. Your body remains completely at ease, still, relaxed, without effort, without awareness. There is no tension left, no sensation asking for attention. Everything has settled into calm. Your mind is quiet now, no thoughts forming, no images appearing, only a soft emptiness that feels peaceful, safe, comfortable. There's no need to think, no need to listen, no need to follow anything at all. Just rest, just stillness, just sleep, gently unfolding on its own. The universe is no longer something you are aware of. It has faded into the background, into nothing, not gone, just quiet, like everything else. There is no above, no below, no sense of direction, only calm, only rest, only this gentle, steady silence. And as you remain here, without effort, without awareness, sleep comes naturally, softly, quietly, without needing to notice. You are safe now, completely safe, and you can continue to rest as deeply and as gently as you need. Drift away, drift away, drift away. Now the quiet is complete. There's no edge to it, no beginning, no end, only a soft, continuous stillness, already holding everything. Your breathing continues on its own, slow, gentle, effortless, in and out, so natural that you no longer notice it. Your body is fully at rest, still, calm, completely relaxed. There is no movement left, no tension, and no awareness of where your body begins or ends. Only comfort, only ease. Your mind is quiet now, not empty in a sharp way, but soft, faded, at peace. There are no thoughts to follow, no need to understand anything, no need to stay aware. Everything has already settled. The universe, once vast, once filled with ideas, is now just a quiet background, no longer needing your attention. There is no above, no below, no sense of space at all. Only rest, only stillness, only this gentle continuation of calm. And within that calm, you remain safe, completely safe. There's nothing that needs to change, nothing that needs to happen. Only this quiet, steady, endless rest. And as you remain here, without effort, without awareness, sleep deepens, naturally, softly, without interruption. Arm drift away, drift away, drift away. Now everything continues, but more quietly, more gently, more deeply. Your breathing is slow and steady, barely there, a soft rhythm that carries you further into rest, in and out. Each breath softer than the last. Your body remains completely relaxed, still, at ease. There's no weight, no tension, no sensation that needs your attention. Everything has settled fully. Your mind is no longer active, no thoughts forming, no images appearing, only a deep, quiet calm. You are not thinking, you are not listening, you are simply resting, and that rest continues to deepen. Without effort, without awareness, without direction. There is no above, no below, no sense of space, only this quiet, steady stillness. And within it, you remain safe, completely at ease. There is nothing to follow, nothing to do, and nothing to notice, only rest, only calm, only sleep, gently continuing. And as everything fades even further, your awareness becomes softer, lighter, until it is no longer something you need to hold. Only this quiet, endless rest, continuing, drift away, drift away, drift away. Now there is only stillness, not something you notice, not something you follow, just something that is, quietly present. Your breathing continues, slow, soft, effortless, in and out, like a gentle rhythm that no longer needs attention. Your body is completely at rest, still, relaxed, at ease. There's no movement, no tension, no awareness of anything that needs to change. Everything is already calm. Your mind is quiet, no thoughts forming, no images appearing, only a soft, deep silence. Not empty, just peaceful, safe. There is no sense of direction, and no above, no below, no sense of space at all. Only this quiet, steady rest, and within it, you remain calm, still, completely safe. There's nothing to do, nothing to hold, nothing to follow, only this gentle continuation of rest and sleep. And as this stillness deepens even more, everything softens further, fades further, until there's only calm, only quiet, only rest. Drift away, drift away, drift away. Now even the feeling of rest becomes softer, more distant, less defined. There is no awareness of drifting, no awareness of time, only a quiet state where everything has already settled. Your breathing is slow, natural, steady, so soft. It feels like part of the stillness itself, in and out, without effort. Your body remains completely at ease, still, relaxed, unmoving. There's nothing to notice, nothing to think, and nothing to follow. Your mind is fully quiet now, no thoughts, no images, only a gentle, peaceful absence. And within that absence, there is comfort, there is safety, there is calm. There's no above, no below, no sense of place at all. Only rest, only stillness, only sleep, continuing gently, naturally, without interruption. And as everything fades completely, there's nothing left to hold, nothing left to follow, only this quiet, endless rest. Drift away, drift away, drift away. Now there's only quiet, not something you notice, not something you follow, just a soft, steady stillness, already here. Your breathing continues on its own, slow, gentle, effortless, in and out, barely there. Your body is completely at rest, still, calm, without tension, without movement. There is nothing to adjust, nothing to feel, nothing to hold, as your mind is fully quiet now. No thoughts forming, no images appearing, only a soft, peaceful silence. And within that silence, you remain safe, completely safe. There is no above, no below, no direction at all. Only rest, only stillness, only this gentle calm, continuing without end. Drift away, drift away, drift away. Now even the sense of quiet becomes softer, fainter, more distant. There's no awareness of time, no awareness of space, only a deep, steady rest. Your breathing is slow, natural, continuous, in and out, like a soft rhythm, fading into stillness. Your body remains completely relaxed, still, at ease, without effort. Your mind is silent, no thoughts, no movement, only calm, only rest. There is nothing to notice, nothing to follow, nothing to become, only this quiet, endless stillness. And within it, everything continues, without needing to be known. You are safe, completely safe, and you can remain here as long as you need, resting deeply, softly, without interruption. Drift away, drift away, drift away. Now everything has become very soft, so soft, it no longer needs to be noticed. Your breathing continues quietly, in and out, slow, steady, effortless. Your body is completely still, no tension, no movement, only rest. Your mind is silent, no thoughts forming, no images appearing, only a calm, gentle stillness. There's no awareness of space, no sense of direction, no above, no below, only quiet, only rest, only this soft, endless calm. You are safe, completely safe. There is nothing to do, nothing to follow, nothing to hold, only rest, only sleep, continuing gently on its own. You drift away, drift away, drift away. Now there is only quiet, nothing else, no movement, no thought, no awareness of anything at all. Your breathing is slow, soft, natural, barely there. Your body remains completely at ease, still, relaxed, unmoving. Your mind is fully quiet, no thoughts, no images, only calm, only rest. There's no direction, no space, no sense of anything to notice, only this quiet, steady, endless rest. You are safe, completely safe, and you can remain here, resting deeply, softly, without effort. Drift away, drift away, drift away. Now there's nothing left to notice, no thoughts, no movement, no sense of time passing, only a deep, quiet stillness, already complete. Your breathing continues, soft, slow, effortless, in and out, like a gentle rhythm that no longer needs awareness. Your body is fully at rest, still, unrelaxed, completely at ease. There is no tension, no sensation calling for attention. Everything has settled. Your mind is quiet, not empty, just peaceful, calm, safe. There is no above, no below, no sense of direction at all. Only rest, only stillness, only this soft, endless calm. You are safe now, completely safe, with nothing to do, nothing to follow, nothing to hold, only rest, only sleep, continuing gently, naturally, without interruption. Drift away, drift away, drift away. Now everything fades into quiet, not ending, not stopping, just becoming softer and softer and softer. Your breathing is slow, steady, calm, in and out, barely there. Your body remains completely still, at ease, at rest, without effort. Your mind is quiet, no thoughts, no images, only calm, only stillness, only rest. There is nothing left to notice, and nothing left to follow, nothing left to understand. Only this gentle, endless quiet. You are safe, completely safe, and you can continue to rest as deeply, as softly, as long as you need. Drift away, drift away, drift away. The voice has already faded, and now only the sound remains, a soft layer of distant ambient tones, like a quiet cosmic hum, gently stretching in every direction. A slow, minimal piano, single notes, spaced far apart, each one dissolving into a long, warm reverb. Very subtle, almost unnoticeable. Beneath it, a deep, low-frequency pad, soft, steady, like a calm breath of space itself. In the distance, a faint texture, like wind moving through nothing, or the quiet echo of the universe. No rhythm, no melody to follow, nothing to focus on. Just a continuous, gentle sound, designed to fade into the background of sleep, and the volume remains low, stable, consistent. No sudden changes, no transitions, only a slow, almost invisible, reduction over time. Over the next few minutes, everything becomes softer and softer and softer until the sound blends completely into silence or into sleep, whichever comes first.